everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is a book haul. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books, and in spite of that I have compounded that problem by going book shopping. And this was on a recent trip I took with my husband to the city of Bath. There will be an upcoming video all about the best bookshops that I visited, where to find them, what they're like, and so on. So hopefully that one's upcoming, but in the future I will link it in the description down below so that you can go from here to there. But today we're just focusing on what did I buy on this trip. And now I must confess, we didn't only go to Bath, we also visited Bristol. These are all places in the southwest of England. On the way to Bath we visited a place called Hungerford where they had a bookshop, but I didn't buy anything there. And we also visited on the way home a town called Marlborough, where, as well as a lovely independent bookshop, we found an Oxfam bookshop where I unfortunately also bought books. Normally at this time of the month I do an unboxing video for my book subscription, but I thought I would combine that into this haul because that was waiting for me as well when I got home. I have also received another piece of book mail which I will include. That is for an upcoming Tandem read along over on Instagram, so yeah, I'll show that at the end. So without any further ado, let's talk about what I got on my trip to Bath. And there was definitely a lot of book buying. This bag is very heavy. Let's start at the beginning. There's an indoor market in Bath that was very, very nice to look around, and they have a bookstore which I believe is called Scoob Books. I will put a link to their details in the description down below and all the places we went. I couldn't resist picking this up because it looks absolutely brand new. I don't think somebody has read this. So this is The Two Faces of January by Patricia Highsmith, and it's a lovely copy by Virago Modern Classics, and I don't know if you can see, but it's untouched, absolutely brand new. So even though this book was £3.50, the only mark on this is where they've written £3.50 in pencil inside the front cover. Yeah, I had to buy this. If you are a Patricia Highsmith fan, can you let me know in the comments down below, is this one of her famous books? Is this an obscure book? I just don't know. The only one I've actually read so far is The Talented Mr. Ripley, which I loved, and I have on my shelf that I'm desperate to read Strangers on a Train, which I borrowed from Mum quite some time ago now. But I haven't ever heard of The Two Faces of January, so yeah, I definitely want to get to more Patricia Highsmith. And the two on the back I've definitely heard of, which are This Sweet Sickness and Deep Water, but I haven't heard of this one. But it does say that it's about two men meeting in the back streets of Athens. One is a con man with multiple false identities and is on the run, and one is a young drifter looking for adventure. So I think this is about what happens when their fates are entwined. I really, really look forward to reading this one, and I was delighted to find such a good condition second-hand book. The next purchase was in a bookshop that I've never visited before. When I went to London and made a Bookshops of London video, I actually hoped to go to this bookshop, but I didn't know at the time that it had moved from London to Bath. So that is, of course, the very famous Persephone Books. And Persephone Books are a publisher and a bookshop, and they have moved probably in the last year or so from London to Bath. They famously publish these grey editions, I think they're called. I've never owned one before. This is my first ever Persephone book, though I have seen them around the place, and I very carefully chose one that is actually on the top 60 thrillers of all time. So I will be reading this for the Killer Reads Thriller Month book club later this year. So I thought it was the ideal time to buy this one. And it's The Expendable Man by Dorothy B. Hughes. And you can see it is the classic Persephone edition. They are also famous for each having different end papers and French flaps. In fact, that's a dust jacket. Wasn't quite expecting that. It's not a French flap. But yes, here are the lovely end papers in this one, and you can get the matching bookmark with the same pattern as the end papers, and on the back it has a little blurb for the Expendable Man. It did say in the shop that these were free with a purchase of a grey book, so I picked it up to go with my matching grey book. But I actually do think I was charged 50p for this, which is how much they are if you're not buying a book with them. So a bit confused on that one. I can't be absolutely certain because I did also buy a Persephone Books pencil, so maybe I just got the pricing wrong. But yes, The Expendable Man by Dorothy B. Hughes is my first ever Persephone book, and I was very, very excited to buy that. So I also did get from the shop a thing about Persephone books, and they gave me a catalogue for their biannual catalogue, which has all about their different editions and new publications, so that was exciting too. So next up we visited Topping and Company, which is where this huge bag came from. And in Topping and Company initially I bought a book for my mum, and I bought her a Barbara Kingsolver book, Flight Behaviour, and this was to say thank you for looking after Harry, our cat, because she was looking after him while we were away. So initially that was what I bought in Topping and Company. Then my husband decided he would like a book to read on the holiday, and we bought him The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury, which I thought he would really like. I have already read that one, but I read it from the library, so I'm really, really happy that I will have a copy of that in my collection once he's finished reading that. So that was exciting too. And then I decided that I needed a book to read while we were on the trip too, so we decided we were going to go for a coffee and read over coffee. So I bought a book that I'm really, really excited for. I've been getting a lot of hype about this book from Gemma from Gemma Books, who recommended it, and there's been loads of hype for this everywhere, and it's recently out in paperback. And in Topping and Company they had this beautiful, beautiful sprayed edge copy that I think might be exclusive to independent bookshops. So that is Our Wives Under the Sea. Has pink sprayed edge along the top and along the bottom, but this sprayed edge is really, really beautiful. It's kind of swirly green, pink, yeah, wave effect maybe for the sea thing, so it kind of matches this cover. It's just such a lovely addition, so I couldn't resist that. This is by Julia Armfield, and it was a book that lots of people were very excited about last year. This is about Leah, who returns from a deep sea mission, and it's also about her wife Miri, and it's about their relationship and how Leah has changed during this deep sea mission, which I believe went wrong. I've only read, I think, about maybe 30 pages of this, so I don't yet know where this is going to go, but it's been a very, very popular book and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. After that we went to Mr. B's bookshop, and my mum had very kindly given me some money to buy a book for myself in Mr. B's, because when it was my mum's birthday and also when it was my dad's birthday last year, I bought them both subscriptions for Mr. B's bookshop, where they would get a book sent to them every month for a year, and they've been really enjoying those subscriptions, so much so that my mum got me the Crime Syndicate subscription for Christmas, where Mr. B's bookshop are sending me one crime thriller book every month. So I was really, really excited to go to this bookshop because I've never been there before in person, and it was a lovely, lovely bookshop. So I did make a purchase, and that purchase was another recommendation from Gemma Books. She has been telling me to read this author so much, and I finally caved and bought one of her books. So I bought The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is sci-fi, and one of my non-goal goals was to read more sci-fi this year. So yeah, this is about Rosemary Harper, who joins the crew of the Wayfarer, and I think this is a spaceship and they go off on adventures into the far corners of the galaxy. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's the first one in the Wayfarer series, and as you can see, it says on the front it was winner of the Hugo Award for Best Series. So can't wait to try Becky Chambers, and that was the reason behind buying this one from Mr. B's. On one of the other days of our holiday, we also visited the city of Bristol, and the bookshops in Bristol town centre are mostly chain bookshops. There's Waterstones, Foyles, and I think a Stanford's, which there are also branches of in London. We also went out to the outskirts of Bristol and visited 2 independent bookshops, and in one of those I bought a book, and it was a lovely bookshop, Max Minerva's Marvellous Books and More. Highly recommend this bookshop, it was lovely. This is part cover purchase, part I saw it on someone's channel a little while ago. I couldn't remember which channel, but really had liked the sound of it. Yeah, the cover purchase part of it, you'll understand. The book is This Devastating Fever by Sophie Cunningham. I think I might have heard of this in somebody's Women's Prize prediction video, but I really can't remember who. If it was you, let me know in the comments down below that you recommended me this book, because I'm very grateful. When I saw this book in Max Minerva's, I was picking it up to look at it, and my husband said, "Oh wow, that is an amazing cover." And at this point in the trip, I'd already had how many books I had set for myself, was how many books I could have, and I was like, I really can't have it because of I'm supposedly on a book buying ban, and that isn't working out very well. But my husband was like, "But that is an amazing cover," and I was like, "Yeah, I've seen it on somebody's channel. It's definitely one I really want to read." He was like, buy it, it looks so great." So this is kind of a cover purchase by my husband, but yes, I ended up breaking the 30 book challenge for this book. And it says, Alice had not expected to spend most of the 21st century writing about Leonard Woolf. When she stood on Morell Bridge watching fireworks explode from the rooftops of Melbourne at the start of a new millennium, she had only 2 thoughts. One was, the fireworks are better in Sydney. The other was, is Y2K going to be a thing? Y2K was not a thing, but there were worse disasters to come. I think this is about living through a time that feels like the end of days. Also, this character is an author, which drew me to it as well. It seemed a bit a little bit apocalypsy, even though I think it's going to be end of days in the sense that, like, of lots of the things that have actually happened. And yeah, I think I really don't know what to expect, but I'm really excited for it. So yes, it says on the back, sometimes you need to delve into the past to make sense of the present. That was This Devastating Fever, and that was from Max Minerva's bookshop. I thought that was the end of the book haul. I really did. And then on the way home, we visited a town called Marlborough, and in Marlborough we were intending to look at the independent bookshop, which we did, but what happened was they had an Oxfam bookshop, and in that Oxfam bookshop I came across a series of graphic novels that are linked to Sherlock Holmes, so I couldn't really resist. The series is called The Baker Street 4. It's about the Baker Street irregulars, who were basically street urchins, I think, who Sherlock Holmes would employ to do tasks for him, like follow people and things like that. They are important in the Sherlock Holmes canon. So yeah, this is about some of them. The Baker Street 4, and they had volume 1. You'll see a problem in a moment that is going to lead to more book buying. They had volume 3, and they had volume 4. Now, I don't even know if I like this series yet. Hopefully I will. Obviously, if I like volume 1, I will be on the lookout for volume 2. I thought, just in case, I better buy all 3. These are written by J.B. Jan and Olivier Legrand, and the art is by David Etienne. I accidentally bought the book haul up to 8 books. Whoops. And then when I got home, there was also my book from Mr. B's, from the Crime Syndicate subscription. Now, I have already opened the box for this one because I thought having an unboxing video as well will be a bit much when we've got a whole book haul here. So I have unboxed it. I haven't taken the sleeve off fully yet, but what they have sent me, I believe this was a really popular thriller last year. It says a Times Book of the Year on the front. And that was City on Fire by Don Winslow. I believe this is going to be the first book in a trilogy. And I actually read online, I'm not sure if this is true, that this is like a modern take on the Iliad and the Trojan War. I'm not sure if that's true. The blurb says, two criminal empires together control all of New England until a beautiful woman comes between the Irish and the Italians, launching a war that will see them kill each other, destroy an alliance and set a city on fire. So you can kind of see the parallels with Troy there. So this is about Danny Ryan, who yearns for a more legit life and a place in the sun. But as the bloody conflict stacks body on body and brother turns against brother, Danny has to rise above himself. To save the friends he loves like family and the family he has sworn to protect, he becomes a leader, a ruthless strategist and a master of a treacherous game in which the winners live and the losers die. From the gritty streets of Providence to the glittering screens of Hollywood to the golden casinos of Las Vegas, two rival crime families ignite a war that will leave only one standing. The winner will forge a dynasty. So that sounds a really, really exciting thriller. I love this black and gold cover. I think this is brand new out in paperback. That was my book from my subscription this month, so that adds to the pile as well. And then just as I was about to film this book haul, there was a ring at the doorbell and I had some more book mail, and I was expecting this because I got an email from Tandem Collective yesterday to say that I'd been accepted onto a read-along for a non-fiction book. So I was expecting that. I opened the envelope and I was so excited, like ridiculously excited, because it's not that book. It is from Tandem Collective. They've very, very kindly sent me this, and I think they've sent me this for another read-along that I applied for. So this is an ad PR product. This is the Favour by Nicci French, which if you've watched my channel at all in the past year, you know I've been so excited about, because I met Nicci French in December. I've been really looking forward to the release of this book. I've mentioned it a couple of times as an anticipated release, and I was hoping to finish the rest of their back catalogue before getting to this, but I do still have 4 remaining Nicci French books to read, but I can't wait to read this. This is due out on the 30th of March, so I'm very, very excited to have a copy before then. And I need to try and contain myself from reading it until I've seen the instructions for the read-along. So I'm hoping the read-along is starting on the 30th and that I will be able to read this then. So I won't tell you too much more about this because I will tell you more about it when I am doing the read-along on Instagram. But I was so excited when this arrived this morning, and I just know that Nicci French will be excellent as always. It says at the bottom here, a quote from The Observer, excels at depicting an ordinary life swept away by horror. And that is something that I think Nicci French do really, really well, is normal life and what happens when something comes along to derail it. This tagline here does say, a good deed can turn deadly. So yeah, looking forward to The Favour. Don't need to know any more than that. Which means I do have a pile here of 10 books that have been acquired, and there will be 2 more books coming in this month, I believe, because one, I might have pre-ordered myself an Agatha Christie book that wouldn't necessarily add to the giant TBR because it is an Agatha Christie that I've read, but it was a special new edition, so I will show you that in a later video because it hasn't arrived yet. That should be coming out next week. And as I've said in my previous video, there is another book coming out at the end of next week. It may even be out by the time this video comes out, depending on when the videos go out. I'm highly anticipating another book that is coming out on the 30th, and I will talk more about it when I have that book in my hand. That's going to be something very exciting that I will hopefully talk about on the channel soon. Those 2 books will probably be coming in the month of March. It's therefore been a very, very bad month for the giant TBR. That was my book haul. And a little bit about my trip to Bath. There will be a video coming soon about the Bookshops of Bath, and I hope you will join me for that one. I hope you've enjoyed this video today, and if you have, please do give it a like. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you bought any books lately? Which of these books do you think I should read first? Are there any books that I'm excited about here that you are also excited about or have read? Do let me know all of those things in the comments down below. That's all from me today, and I hope very much to see you all again soon for another video all about books, hopefully ones that I've read and not ones that I've bought, here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.